So this morning we're off to see John Henderson in Maderty. John approached us because he was getting oil bills in excess of £3,500 a year. He's had a 5-bedroom house, he was rural, he had lots of land round about the house, so we recommended that he fit a ground source heat pump. So we're going to go up, have a chat with him and see how he got on with how he's getting on with the heat pump and how he found his experience with renewable heat. Why did you decide to go with ground source heat pump?
We bought the house with oil-fired heating and had decided right at the outset we were going to change it, and ground source was always our preferred option. We had the land and it seemed to make perfect sense.
What kind of research did you do beforehand then?
We checked on web just to see what was available, how efficient they were, and did they actually do the job. So that was no-brainer.
Has it done the job?
Yes, yes. A few tweaks here and there, but it's
Good.
doing the job.
Good. Do you know what kind of bills you were getting before?
£3,500–4,000 £4,000 a year.
Per year?
Yes.
What is it just now?
£250 a month for electricity.
For everything. And
For
you work
everything.
from home as well, don't you?
Yes.
So when you got this heat pump, you also were eligible for RHI.
Yep.
How much are your payments for RHI?
Just over £1,000 every quarter
Oh, brilliant. So £4,000 a year.
for 7 years.
Perfect. Perfect.
It made the whole thing just worthwhile, without a doubt.
How did you find the whole experience of getting a ground source heat pump fitted?
Fairly straightforward. No worse than changing the boiler, to whatever else, whether we wanted cal or gas or whatever. It was fairly seamless. We had a lot of work going on at the time, and it was just all done in one.
And how long did it take in total?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. So
3 weeks including all the groundwork.
groundwork. So how much disruption did you actually have in the house during the process?
Week, 10 days.
Yeah.
No, it was fairly seamless.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you have any fears before you started off?
Yes, would it actually work? We were doing a retrofit, so it was a bit into the unknown, but you came along and you did all your measurements and calculations and said it would work.
How do you find the house now running from ground source heat pump compared to running with oil?
Oh, night and day, night and day.
Why?
We don't have the heating off.
All right, okay.
We just run it and don't need to worry about checking oil.
Are you finding yourself having to touch the heat pump at all, or have to do any connections on
No,
it?
no.
You just leave it and it runs
We
itself?
just leave it, it's set, we go and check that it's still working, and up to now,
How about hot water?
absolutely brilliant.
You
Fun.
run out of hot water?
Nope.
You've not actually got a big tank, have you? You've only got 180 litres in here.
Yes, more than enough.
Uh-huh.
When we have visitors and the house is full, then we'll put it onto Lux.
Okay, so
And that-
Lux is when you boost the temperature up a little bit and you
Yep.
get more hot water.
Yep, and that works fine.
Good, good. During the installation process, how much disruption did you actually have in the house?
4 days maximum. Came back on the 5th day just to check it was all up and running, and it was fine.
Did you have the water off much? Any disruption with the water or the heating?
Half a day. Nothing we couldn't live with.
Have you had any problems with the heat pump with maintenance?
No problems, but we just phone you to remind you to come once a year and check it and make sure everything's
Health
hunky-dory.
check. Yep. So when we do a health check, we're just checking that the
Yeah.
filters are clear and the heat pump's running correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So was any part of this process you felt was difficult or complicated?
The renewable heat application could be difficult, but you just came, sat down with us, and we went through it all and filled it in, and it went through first time, no problems.
So you've recommended us to other people.
Yep.
You want to talk a bit about that, please?
We moved my wife's parents to the house across the road, and we decided that we were going to do exactly the same for their house. Renewable heat pump, the whole works. Again, equally seamless fitting, and they're perfectly happy. And they've gone with the online kit as well, which means they're in their 80s, they don't need to worry about their heating.
Yep, so if anything happens to their heating, we get notification straight away, and we can phone you to say there's a problem.
You
We
phone,
get there.
you phone and tell us before we know. Excellent.
How did you find the experience of working with renewable heat?
No problems. no problems whatsoever. You said when you would come and do the initial assessment, you did your calculations, you then left us to think about making a decision. Once we'd made a decision, you gave us a date, you stuck to the date, and it was finished in the timescale that you advised. So we have no problems in recommending Renewable Heat. Although you did cost us a fortune in biscuits.
Any other comments or feedback on Renewable Heat?
Renewable Heat have been first class. You know, the follow-up service has been faultless. You contacted us to tell us that there was a new facility available that you could fit to our heat pump, and then you could remotely access our heat pump to make sure that everything was as it should be.
How are you finding that?
It's another thing that we don't need to worry about.
That I do.
That you do, we think.